Yeah, I'm really having it here in front of me because they are so voluminous that you hardly know where to begin and where to end. Voluminous in the sense the virtues of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha cannot be expressed in words, they are infinite. So people try, there are lots of teachers or later experts, they have tried to put it into words because these are mental qualities. They are things of the heart, they are things of the mind. Virtues of the Buddha, as we all know, Itipiso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisadhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati. It is good for you to understand the meaning of each one of those. They are called Guna. There are 9 isolated like Arahant. Maybe you will count Arahant, Samma Sambuddho, Vijjacana Sampanno, Sugato, Lokavidu, Anuttaro, Purisadhamma Sarati, Satta Deva Manusana, Buddho, Bhagavati. Altogether 9. These 9 are isolated because that they are the ones that speak the virtues of the Buddha, whereas the virtues of the Buddha are infinite. Buddha has always said there are infinite things in this world. One is the wisdom of the Buddha is infinite, unfathomable. You can never understand, even if you spend a whole lifetime, you cannot understand what the Buddha's knowledge is. So, I will try to be very preliminary idea of these 9 qualities of the Buddha. So it starts with the Arahant. What is the meaning of Arahant? Rasingvat Pauno Karanaki. Now the Buddha has no mental defilements. The Buddha gained victory over defilements. Rasingvat Pauno Karanenda Chala Saturang Nasugenda. That is, he gained victory over defilements who are real enemies that take us along samsara. Then samsara chakra arasinda luheinda. It means there is a chakra and there are spokes, but the Buddha broke down the spokes of the wheel of samsara. So the wheel of samsara is not turning anymore. So the Buddha put a stop to the samsaric uh, cyclic order. It doesn't turn anymore. So the first quality is, I will repeat, the Buddha has no mental defilements. The Buddha gained victory over defilements. The Buddha broke down the spokes of the wheel of samsara. And the Buddha does not commit sin even in secret. Now this is very important. Everybody commits sin in secret. Nobody robs and steals openly. They all do it in secret. Nobody does all the miserable, evil things open. They don't sexually misconduct openly. They do it secretly. So the Buddha never committed sin secretly, even secretly. Never was he evil, even And therefore, the Buddha deserves the greatest offerings of all four requests. There is nobody who deserves the dana as much as the Buddha does, because he is impeccable, his character is unthinkable. Buddha Guna Achintyo. There is no, you can never think and comprehend the extent of the wisdom and the virtues of the Buddha. So, but they have enumerated just a few things, such as the Buddha has no mental defilement, the Buddha gained victory over defilements, the Buddha broke down the wheel, the spokes of the wheel of samsara. The Buddha does not commit sin even in secret. Therefore, the Buddha deserves the greatest offerings of the world. So now that is the short summary of what Arahang means. Kelesun kelenduruveinde, keles saturan nasuveinde, sansara chakre avasindaluveinde, rahasing wat paunukaranende, ලෝව සංගේ ආමිස පූජා ප්‍රතිපත්ති පූජා ලැබීමට අතිශයින් සුදුසු වෙයින්ද අරහං නම් වනසේක. So that is the meaning of Arahant, which you have to recognize, understand, without merely repeating Arahant Samma Sambuddha like parrots, without understanding the meaning. So the second one is Samma Sambuddho. The Buddha realized the Dhamma by himself. Samma Sambuddha means he didn't read it in another book or he didn't listen to someone else, but he gained his own wisdom through own contemplation, through his own meditation, and that is why he is Samma Sambuddha. He is not a disciple of anybody. He is not giving second-hand knowledge. He is giving first-hand knowledge. When the Buddha realized at the Bodhi tree, then there are the three ways he first saw dukkha, dukkha satya, samudaya satya, nirodha satya, marga satya. When he saw dukkha, then he didn't stop. He put it to the entire world of living beings and tested and found out, well, this is a universal truth. Everybody is suffering. Dukkha is a universal truth. And then only the inference came, and then the Buddha inferred, well, this is the universal truth. That is our scientific investigation also. First we have the hypothesis, then we have the experiment, then we come to the inference. So just like that, the Buddha in three ways, Satya Jnana, Krutya Jnana, Kruta Jnana. First he saw it as a Satya, as a truth. Krutya Jnana means he put it to the entire world of living beings and found there is nobody who is absolutely without suffering. Everyone is suffering, even in the heaven, and the worst suffering in hell, less suffering in other places. But suffering is unique because they all die and then they all get born again and they continue the samsaric suffering. So the Buddha saw Satya Jnana, the suffering as the truth. Krutajnana, he put it across the entire world of living beings and found the experiment and found and got the inference that this is a unique, this is a absolute reality, and that it is a common to every living being. Then only he declared it to the world. So the Buddha is the master of his realization, and he understood the Dhamma by himself. That is why he is called Samma Sambuddha. And it was so perfect, his knowledge, because it had no contradictions. It was clear, as if seen on the palm of the hand. So that's, they can't describe that, but they have given some ordinary explanation just to, for the basic understanding what Samma Sambuddha means. So Buddha realized Dhamma by himself, and it was so perfect, without any contradiction, and it was so clear as if seen on the palm. Then the Dhamma is valid for all times. The Dhamma he spoke about is valid for the past, present, and future. That is why he is called Samma Sambuddha. You cannot question the accurate, the truth of the Dhamma in terms of the past. You can't say that was in the past now, which is not there. No, it is more relevant now, and it will be more relevant in the future. So the Dhamma he realized is for all times. That is why he is Samma Sambuddha. And the Buddha is omniscient with a penetrating wisdom which nobody can fathom. So these qualities are well recorded in our books, but then we have no time to talk about all that. So for our purpose, we can understand Samma Sambuddha means Buddha realized the Dhamma by himself, and it was so perfect, without any contradiction, so clear as if seen in the palm of the hand. The Dhamma is valid for all times, for the past, present, and future. The Buddha was omniscient with penetrating wisdom which nobody can fathom. Even if the Buddha has to speak about his own wisdom, he will finish his lifespan, but he will never see the end of his wisdom. So, this infinite, Buddha speaks of infinity, the Loka Vishaya, the world system is infinite. Nobody can ever think or see the end of the world. Buddha Vishaya Achintya, wisdom of the Buddha is infinite. Nobody can understand all of it. Sattva Vishaya Achintya, which means the world of animals or world of living beings is infinite. Nobody can fathom it. Not only in the earth, under the earth, above the earth, the supernormal, that there are living beings that can be seen, unseen, far away, close by. So they are infinite. There are, I think I will talk to you about it as I go on. Just for the moment, I will say that the Buddha's penetrating wisdom is infinite and beyond comprehension. So that is why he is called Samma Sambuddha. Vidya Charana Sampanna. Vidya is Asta Vidya and Charana is Pasalas Charana. There are eight Vidya. Vidya means sciences, and Pasalas Charana are the Buddha's conduct, the virtues and sila. There are 15 that are enumerated and 8 vijja that are enumerated, but they are only a fraction. But for our purpose, it is enough to understand. I will just talk to you a little bit because we are running out of time. The 8 sciences, Ashtavidya, are Vipassana Jnana, wisdom of Vipassana, Iddhivida, power of becoming oneself and becoming manifold, many others just like himself. Iddhivida, Parachitta Vijanana, knowing the others' minds, can read other people's minds. Pubbya Nivasa, seeing the previous lives in samsara. Dibba Chakku, as the divine eye, he can see further, much further than we can see. Our sight is limited, but the Buddha's sight is unlimited, divine. So that is called Dibba Chakku. Then Dibba Sota is the divine ear. He can hear sounds far away in the hell of heaven. He only has to focus and he can hear them. So, yes, divine Dibba Chakku and Dibba Sota and Asavakkaya, that is the destroying of all cankers, taints, corruptions, intoxicants, asava. There are 5 kinds of asava. Asavakkaya means he has given up, he has Shekalatinakan, he has destroyed the asava. There are 4 asava. Kama asava, that is sense desire. Bhava asava, desire for existence, to live a good life. People do a lot of merit to get a better rebirth. That is bhava asava. Ditya asava, desire for wrong view. When they have a wrong view, they like to hold and hang on to the wrong view. They don't want to give it up because it is their personality, their pride and prejudice. So they keep on having ditti asava, that is desire for holding wrong view. And avijjasava is ignorance, seeing only the conventional truth and not seeing beyond the convention the absolute truth. So I think we have come to the end of the session. I have so much more to tell, but I will quickly go through. These are the 8 sciences, Ashtavidya, Vipassana Jnana, Manomaya Jnana, Iddhivida Jnana, Parachitta Vijnana Jnana, Pubbya Nivasa, Dibba Chakku, Dibba Sota, and Asavakkaya. Vipassana is the wisdom of Vipassana. Manomaya means the power of creating spiritual creation of forms himself. Iddhivida is the power of becoming oneself and manifold, and that's the one. Then Manomaya, power of spiritual creations. He can create other people. Now I'm supposed you know how the Buddha, when Kema came to see Buddha, he created a beautiful woman fanning him close by. And Kema was looking at that beautiful woman. I wondered, my goodness, they say that the Buddha doesn't entertain beautiful women, but he is the most beautiful woman fanning and standing by him. So Buddha can create that kind of image. And that is the Manomaya Iddhi. And Iddhivida is the power of becoming oneself and manifold. And Parachitta Vijanana is knowing others' minds. And Pubbya Nivasa is seeing the previous lives in samsara. Dibba Chakku is the divine eye. He can see as much as he wants into any further distance. And Dibba Sota, he can hear anything, all sounds far away, and Asavakaya is destroying of all cankers and taints, and all this karma asava, bhava asava, ditya asava, yes, he has put an end and completely destroyed karma asava, sense desire, bhava asava, desire for existence in samsara, ditya asava, desire for wrong view, holding the wrong view, and avijja asava is he has given up ignorance. It's completely with infinite wisdom. So that is the meaning of sattva. Vidya, the 8 Vidya, Ashtavidya, and Pasalastarana Dharma, I'll quickly say it. The charana means conduct, the virtues of the sealer. He had moral restraint, pratimoksha, samvara, sila, whatever precepts. He never broke any precept. Then Indriya samvara sila, that is watching over the sense doors. He doesn't see or hear things he doesn't want to see or hear. Then moderation in eating, bhojane matrajnata. Then wakefulness, jagaryanu yoga. Then Buddha had faith, saddha. Buddha had moral shame and dread, hiriotapa. The Buddha had great learning, bahusutta. And the Buddha had extreme energies, virya. And the Buddha had mindfulness at all times, never a moment without mindfulness. Sati. And the Buddha had wisdom, panya. And then the 4 jhana absorptions. These are 15 altogether. If you can count, I will say it again in the Pali because it is interesting. Pratimoksha samvara sila, indriya samvara sila, bhojane matrajnata, jagaryanu yoga, saddha, hiri, otappa, bahusruta, virya, sati, panya, and the 4 jhanas. In English, it would read moral restraint, pratimoksha samvara, watching over sense doors, indriya samvara, moderation in eating, bhojane matraknata, wakefulness, jagaryana yoga, faith, shraddha, moral shame and dread, hiriotapa. He never had any immoral activity. Then he had energy, virya, he had mindfulness all the time, sati and wisdom, panya, and 4 jhanas, altogether 15. These 15 are called pasalos charana dharma. So vidya charana means ashtavidya and pasalos charana dharma. The 8 sciences and the 15 virtuous conducts. Araham Vidyacharana Sugata. Sugata means well gone. That is to say, well done. You have got to the end of all suffering. That is what Sugato means. So, majority of living beings as well as even teachers of various religions are not well gone. They depend on a creator, God, and have blind faith which leads them to rebirth and suffering. But the Buddha alone shows the way to Nibbana, the Eightfold Path, which leads them towards the ending of suffering and the ending of rebirth. As the Buddha is called well gone, but the Buddha's path is well gone. And that is for us to understand that we should follow this eightfold path, and that will be the end of suffering. Then the Buddhas of the past also followed the same path. Hence, they were also well gone. All Buddhas are well gone. They also followed the eightfold path. Then the Buddhas, and not only did they follow, they recommended. Then the Buddhas of the past actions, the paramita, and that is the only way. That so fulfilling paramita for Buddhahood is also called well. Then it is said that there are so many miracles of all Buddhas. As soon as they were born, they all, it seems, walked 7 steps and declared their supremacy. So that is also a reason why they call well gone. Then they all renounced and gave up sensual pleasure. That's also a reason why they are well gone. And then they ended all suffering. And all Buddhas of the past realized this same nature of mind and body. So it is a time-tested truth. They all realize the nature of the mind and body, that they are prone to anicca, dukkha, anatta, that is, the impermanent mind and body are both impermanent, and they are sorrow-laden. There's mental sorrow and physical sorrow, and they are anatta, means the non-self nature. Then all Buddhas of the past, they all had the same, they preached the same absolute truth and gave up conventional truth. It is the only way, and there is no other way. And that's also why he's well gone Sugato. And they all preach the same Four Noble Truths. That is the only way, and there's no other way. Then they all speak the same Dhamma without any contradiction. And that is the truth. And that is the way. So that is therefore he is called Sugato. Then all the Buddhas of the past, they all gave the same perfect medicine for all ills, for the ending of all suffering. Hence, they are called well gone. And there are many, many attributes, but I was able to pick up a few just for our basic information. They all won over the greatest scholars and opponents, teachers, and the Mara who came for argument, and they were all vanquished. Hence, they are called Sugato. They went the right way. And then they were well done, like well gone. So in modern parlance, it is the same path that is tested through by all Buddhas through eons. So there is no mistake one has to tread that path if they have to end suffering. Okay, so that is Sugato. Hello?
Yes, Bhikkhuni Kusuma, we can hear you. Hello.
Diniti, are you listening?
Yes, we are. We can hear you well.
Okay.
Thank you.
So shall I continue?
Yes,
Now
please,
that,
Bhikkhuni Kusuma. Sadhu, sadhu.
now that is Arahang Vijacharana Sampanna
Sugato.
Sugato. Then we come to Lokavidu. Lokavidu, the world is infinite. That's what the Buddha said. That is Lokavishya Achintya. Unthinkable is the extent of the world. So Lokavidu means the Buddha realized the extent of the world, of the universe, not by scholarship, but by wisdom and understanding. So there are so many attributes of the Buddha which confirm that the Buddha had supernormal knowledge and vision. The Panchavida Nyaya Mandala is the 5 kinds of universal knowledges realized by the Buddha. I can just enumerate the 5: Sanskara, Vikara, Lakshana, Nirvana, Panyapti. I'll try to translate it. Sanskara means the Buddha was able to see the synthesis, the world, how the world arises due to causes and conditions, the synthesis of the world. So they are talking about the world. Lokavidu means he is the final, the person who really understood all aspects of the world. So sanskara is how the world comes to be due to causes and conditions. The Buddha speaks of causality. Vikara means analysis. He was also capable of to break down the world of the universe in impermanence. So the Buddha sees the rising of the world, and Buddha sees the impermanence of the world breaking down. And it is not only for us, the world means here the entire world, the entire universe. They are always breaking down. There is a dynamic equilibrium. They are not static. So because of their rotation, their gravitation and their electromagnetic fields, so many things that keeps them as if static, but there are so many breaking down processes as well as building up processes. And the Buddha saw both. Then Lakshana is what it appears to be, the superficiality of the world. That also he saw, the superficiality, what you think is beautiful is not necessarily beautiful. Then he saw nirvana, the freedom from desire and the extinction of suffering. So these are the things that the Panchavida Nyaya Mandaliya that are so hard to understand. He saw Nirvana and he saw Panyati. He saw the convention, the man-made worldly truth. Hence the Buddha is Lokavidu, the wisest in the world. Vidu is a Pandita. He knows the entire structure of the world, in the sense the universe. So the Buddha is one who saw the sanskara, the synthesis of the world, vikara, the analysis and how they break down, and lakshana, the superficial appearances of the world, nirvana, the freedom of desire and the extinction of suffering, and the Buddha saw the panyati, the convention that is man-made, worldly truth. So according to the Buddhist philosophy, this is well known by the Buddha, and there are 4 phenomena that are infinite which the Buddha understood. They are inconceivable, endless. One may investigate till the end of life with utmost effort, but they will never see the end. It is a futile quest, a waste of good human energy. These 4 infinites are Lokavishya Chintyai, that's what I was talking about. Even if you the universe is infinite in extent, endless, inconceivable. No science does not answer the question why, because science is not progress to see the end of the world, whereas the Buddha saw the endless nature of the world. So it's a waste of time, waste of energy, if you go seeking to see the world beyond. Then, Sattva Vishya Achintya, the Buddha saw the extent of living beings in human and subhuman condition. They are inconceivable, infinite. If I can give you a personal anecdote, I was in US studying molecular biology, and then I had to see a drop of pond water under the face microscope. For 3 months I had to do this, and it is amazing the amount of animalcules you see in a drop of pond water. So I was thinking, Buddha saw this. So there's so much life, small, big, all kinds of life, seen, unseen. The Buddha refers to in the Karaniya Sutra, born, unborn, far, near. The amount of living beings are inconceivable. That's also a sattva vishaya achintya. So living beings in human and subhuman and superhuman states of existence are inconceivable, infinite, endless. Then the Buddha speaks karma vishaya achintya. That is to say, the karma and vipaka, that is actions and reactions of all living beings, is inconceivable, infinite, endless, because there is so much karma done knowingly, unknowingly by all living beings. And then they reap the results of karma, vipaka. Then that is also inconceivable, because life after life, the only thing we have been doing is making karma and receiving results. So we are born also as a result of karma. We make karma and we have to suffer the results of karma sooner or later, or throughout a lifetime, or throughout samsara. So the many arahants who had supernormal powers were able to see their previous lives and the karma they made and the suffering it entailed. So, but for our purpose, for the mundane, it is not conceivable. So we have to be satisfied that karma vishaya is karma vishaya achintya. Karma and vipaka, that is actions and reactions of all living beings, is inconceivable, infinite, endless, and Buddha saw that these four, and the final one is the last but not the least that I have written down, that is Buddha Vishaya Achintya, that is the extent of the knowledge, the wisdom and understanding and the virtues of the Buddha are infinite, inconceivable, and endless. And that is why the Buddha is called Loka Vidu. So I think we have some more time. I'll just go through it. And this Loka gives the meaning, gives the rendering of Sattva Loka, Sanskara Loka, and Okasa Loka. So, තුන් ලෝකයට අග්‍ර කියලා කියනවා. තුන් ලෝකය කියන්නේ සත්ව ලෝක, the world of living beings. Samskara loka is a world of formations, karmic problems, karmic causes. Sanskara loka. Okasa loka is the world of space. So these three are called Tun Loka. Loka Vidu could mean that he knew all three worlds. The world of living beings, the world of karma and result, the world of space, the universality, the endless nature. Then again, Loka gives the rendering of Kama Loka, Rupa Loka, and Arupa Loka. Then there are also three worlds are mentioned. Kama Loka is the world of living beings enjoying sensuality. Rupa Loka is the world, the material world of Brahma. They have no sensuality, but they enjoy the jhanic pleasures in the Rupa Loka. The Arupa Loka is the immaterial realm, where the body does not exist, but the mind exists, and they enjoy the immense satisfaction of their jhanic pleasure, ecstasy of jhana. So these three realms are also called Tunloka, Kamaloka, Rupaloka, the material realm of Brahma, Arupaloka, the immaterial realm of the Brahma. So the Buddha is called Loka Vidu. Vidu is really the master. So he's the master of the three worlds. Tun loketa agra kila kyane kai. Loka Vidu is the master of the three worlds. He's the master of the three worlds, skilled, original, and who gained complete knowledge of the world of all existence, both mental and physical. Hence, is called Loka Vidu, the master of the three worlds. Next I go to Anuttara Purisa Dhamma Sarathi. The Buddha is unique in transforming living beings, human beings, and maybe divine, regulating the behavior of the most atrocious, ferocious characters. For example, Nalagiri, a drunken elephant, Nandopananda, a fearful hooded cobra. They were all subdued and brought under. We know the story of Angulimala, a fearful bandit who was, who was he was a murderer and he became an arahant. They all came in for submission. So even a person, a alavaka, a demon, these are well-known stories. An evil laka was, we hear of his being subdued, and supposed to be that he became a Sotapati. Then we hear of Mara, the evil one, extremely powerful, who appeared at midnight with his retinue, fully armed, just before the attainment of Buddhahood. Then he declared, "Get up and go," he said. "The entire earth belongs to me." Then his retinue stood witness in one voice, "Yes, the whole world, the entire universe belongs to Mara." Then the Buddha looked around, it was midnight, and there was nobody, even the divine people who were surrounding him had vanished because they were so frightful of the Mara. And the Buddha aspirant was alone. Under the Bodhi tree, he had nobody to give evidence. So he is supposed to have pointed to the earth and said that the earth is witness. Whereupon the Manimekala, the goddess of the earth, appeared and stood witness that the earth shook whenever the Bodhisattva fulfilled paramitas, she said. And I am witness, she said. And that's the time the Mara was subdued and disappeared. So he won the Mara without weapons. A well-known war, Mara Vijaya, described in the Jayamangala Gatha. Thus, the Buddha is the undisputable winner of every combat. The most difficult to subdue are human beings, the Buddha says, who are evil-minded. Their minds become calm and gentle under the discipline as disciples of the Buddha. So all the disciples gave up their mental defilements. Their prides and prejudices were gone. The Buddha had such wisdom and such supernormal powers to bring sanity of sainthood to the uncontrollable. The disciples that surrendered in all humility gave up the defilements and won the deathless. Sarathi literally means the charioteer who leads the horses along the path. They had no scientific jargon, and this was the familiar talk that the Buddha was able to speak to, otherwise the people cannot understand. So, Sarathi, Purisa Dhamma Sarathi. Sarathi literally means the charioteer, one who leads the horses along the path. Thus, the Buddha is unique in showing the path, Eightfold Path. All those who took to the path were able to overcome the travails of samsara by giving up craving and ending of suffering. Thus, the Buddha is the one who shows and steers people, human beings and even non-human beings, on the correct path, the path to all those who came for peaceful participation became disciples of the Sangha. Hence, Purisa Dhamma Sarathi, the able charioteer who steers his disciples along the path. Then the ferocious became meek and mild and amenable, having attained states of sainthood. The virtues and conduct of the disciples are impeccable. Example, Supatipanna, Ujupatipanna, Nyayapatipanna, Samechipatipanna. There are endless descriptions in the books, but I was trying to get the minimum just for our purpose. And the Sangha, the Buddha himself extolled the virtues of the Sangha. These virtues may not apply to conventional Sangha. They apply to the... Hello, I hope you are listening.
Yes, we are listening, Bhikkhuni Kusuma.
Okay.
We can hear you well.
Good to make a sound so that I know you are there.
Okay, we'll do that.
So the Sangha refers not to Sammuti Sangha, but it refers to the Paramatma, the enlightened Sangha. They have all those super qualities. So the Buddha refers to them. Not only did they become disciples, they acquired all the superhuman qualities. And because they followed the advice and the straight path, the Ujupatipanna means the straight path, they didn't follow a crooked path, their behavior strictly was correct, adhered to the law, namely the Dhamma. Then there were Samechipati, and gentle and pleasant. Those are attributes of the Arahant and especially the enlightened Sangha. They were easy to get along with. They are the excellent qualities of the Arya Sangha, so not necessarily the Sammuti Sangha. So all those who came under his purview, the Buddha became extremely enlightened, polite Arahants who had no more defilements, and they ended all suffering. Satta Deva Manussanam. So what does Satta Deva Manussanam mean? An incomparable teacher of humans and divine is the Buddha. That means Satta means teacher, Shastru. Deva Manusana means Devi Minister, that is of divine and human. So he is an incomparable teacher of human and divine. Such is the Buddha. Even though the disciple Sangha teach, they too have learned from the Buddha and no other. So all the Dhamma is the teaching of the Buddha. So he is such an excellent teacher. And hence Satta Deva Manusana. And Buddha is the only one who teaches the way to success, mundane as well as supramundane. That means he teaches you worldly happiness and transcendental happiness. So Nibbana, the ending of samsara and suffering, this is the unique teaching of the Buddha, and hence is Satta Deva Manasa. There is none other who can teach such light. Hence he is called teacher of gods and men, Satta Deva Manasa. There are three kinds of Pratyahara the Buddha speaks of, the display of supernormal power, Pratyahara. One is Iddhi Pratyahara. The Buddha denied and he said, don't do it. That is, Iddhi Pratyahara is by developing jhanic powers, you can perform miracles. The Buddha disclaimed this because, for example, supernormal powers such as astral traveling, you can go by air. One can easily say, why take all the trouble when you can jump a plane and go around the earth? So, they can be contested. The supernormal powers can be contested. Even reading others' thoughts by supernormal power can be contested. There is a science called Manika where you can read other people's thoughts. So that kind of supernormal powers, Iddhi Pratyahara, Buddha disclaimed. But Buddha said the only one that he practiced is Anusasana Pratyahara, which is very important. Anusasana means always giving advice. The Buddha used this technique and advice. Don't think like that. Don't think like that. Don't speak like that. That is wrong. Speak like this. This is the correct speech. This is the wrong speech. This is right thinking. This is wrong thinking. This is right speech. This is wrong speech. This is right action, wrong action, and the entire eightfold path is speaking of right thinking, right speech, right view. Don't do this, don't do that, and all that. So the Buddha used to use you taught people to develop these virtues and give up evil. Those who take the advice achieve worldly purpose as well as divine qualities. So the Buddha used Anusasana Pratyahara. The Buddha's advice still holds good after maybe over 2,500 years. For instance, the world is suffering, which the Buddha declared as dukkha, is more relevant today as never before with the corona spreading in the world. Even today, the 5 precepts of virtue are most relevant in spite of modern science and technology and the promised luxuries they offer. Even though you believe in luxuries, the 5 precepts that restrain you from unnecessary pain and suffering is relevant today as it was when it was preached. So that is because the Buddha is a perfect teacher and it is relevant for all times. Even today, there are some who are weary of all the luxuries around, who renounce house and home in search of peace and tranquility. And during that time, there were so many, and nearly all of them his disciples. They had luxuries which they renounced, but they ultimately became arahants, and they ultimately find the luxury of sainthood. That does not give them even a moment of frustration. So, the Buddha speaks of the highest happiness itself. They get the happiness by giving, which is much better than the happiness of acquisition. When you acquire, you have to maintain, and it is so difficult when you have to lose. So here, the idea of giving up is what the Buddha stressed. It is a freedom without, you have no harness or responsibility or maintenance when you give up. So, as far as such things are possible, it is good to give up rather than insist on me, I and mine. So that is the Anusasani Pratiharya, that is the promoting non-greed, non-hate and wisdom. And it has a moral and ethical value. Whereas the first one, Iddhi Pratyaharya, has no moral and may not have any moral or ethical value. So the Buddha speaks only of this Anusasana Pratyaharya. And there's another one called Adesana Pratyaharya. That is when teachers of arts and science and mathematics, etc., they are skilled and they have uh, Adesana Pratyahari because they can express themselves and teach others very well. They are good mathematicians, they are good arts and crafts and science teachers. But they do not have much moral or ethical significance. Such skill is useful for the worldly happiness, maybe communication and all that. But the Buddha disclaims such skill compared to the Anusasana Pratyahara, which is indispensable for the happiness of all. So, this worldly happiness, the worldly teachers, they don't address the pain and suffering of living beings. Whereas Anusasana Pratyahara always addressed the pain and suffering of living beings. So, they don't understand, for instance, science teacher or mathematics or something, and they don't understand sickness, old age, death, etc. They don't teach that. They don't teach about mental trauma because it is not relevant to their field. So, the society today is therefore in such a dilemma because this Adesana Pratiharya or teaching worldly uh, arts and crafts is what they do today. Teaching science and technology that has no human touch. Adesana Pratihari, therefore, may increase greed, hatred, and ignorance, and may lose the human values. Materialism seen today, I think, is direct outcome of Adesana Pratihari, because there is no Anusasana Pratihari. Thus, the Buddha is the incomparable teacher of gods and men, Satta Deva Manusana, who speaks only Anusasana Pratihari, which is unique to the Buddha, which gives one peace and tranquility, even when living conditions are poor. If I can refer to my personal uh, thinking, earlier I had the Adesana Pratyahara. I used to be a good science teacher, but now I gave up. Then it was Adesana Pratyahara. But now I am more into the Dhamma and it has become more Anusasana Pratyahara. So I'm happy about this. Then there is,
Sadhu, sadhu,
I
sadhu,
think we
Big
don't
Queen.
have much more time. Shall we go on to the Buddha? I don't know whether we can finish it. Maybe yes. Then Buddha. Then we just finished Satta Deva Manusana. Then Buddha. The perfect enlightenment of Samma Sambuddha is the state attained by Buddha who rediscovered the liberating law, the Dhamma, which has become lost to the world. The Buddha rediscovered the Dhamma, realized it, and clearly proclaimed it to the world. That is why he is called Buddha. So the Buddha discovered things that were never heard before, understanding it by himself, the truth, and attaining omniscience and gaining mastery over the powers by, by the use of the Dhamma. So the doctrine, the Dhamma, are mostly the Four Noble Truths, which were explained to the world in conventional language. So the Buddha not only discovered the Dhamma but also was able to speak the Dhamma in a way that people can understand. So he is called Buddha. So the Buddha also liberates men and gods from travails of samsara. The Buddha did not discover and did not disclose to the world. No, Buddha having discovered did not disclose to the world like the Pacceka Buddha. Pacceka Buddha understands the entire. He is also a Samma Sambuddha, but unable to speak his experience and give it to the world. So he is a Pacceka Buddha. But this is Samma Sambuddha who can not only discover the Dhamma but also can render it and speak to others in language that is understandable. There are 14 special qualities of the wisdom of the Buddha. They are the noble truth of suffering, dukkhe jnanam, the noble truth of cause of suffering, samudaya jnanam, the noble truth of extinction of suffering, nirodha jnanam, and the noble truth of the path that leads to extinction of suffering, dukkha nirodha gamini patipada jnanam. So this eightfold path. Then there are 4 analytical knowledges: Atta Patisambhida, Dhamma Patisambhida, Nirutti Patisambhida, and Patibhana Patisambhida. Atta Patisambhida means the Buddha is sure of the true meaning of the word he uses. Arthya. Dhamma is his first-hand knowledge. Dhamma is the law, the doctrine, the norm which the Buddha has understood. So he has this analytical knowledge of how not only to understand but to put it across to others. The Nirutti Patisambhida, that is he not only knows the word, the meaning, but he also knows the derivatives of that word, Nirutti. So, Patibhana Patisambhada is he had ready wit. He could invent, and he was quick to respond, and he was so clever in his deshana or his speech. So the Buddha had very, very special attributes, such as the 4 noble truths, the 4 analytical knowledges, and the supranormal. He had much indriya paryat, that is knowing others, development. That is to say, now if he sees someone, he knows how much anger and hatred he has, how much fear and trepidation. So he knows the extent of his defilements. So Indriya Paropadyat, Asyanuse, he knows how much that person has defilements, how much or how little, that also he understands. Yamaka Pratyaya, is his ability to show two kinds of supernormal powers simultaneously. Then Mahakaruna Samapatti is the compassion towards all living beings. And then Anavarana is the Buddha has unobstructed view and vision. So these are some of the attributes. There are many, many others. I had to get it very short because of the time. Okay, now I think we have come to the end of the session. And I thank you,
Sadhu, sadhu.
and I'm so grateful for all of you for listening in, and also I hope you will be able to give this knowledge to the world. So thank you very much. We will share merit with the divine beings. Akasakta Bhummata Deva Naga Maitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakantu Lokasasanam.